We'll begin in a comfortable seated position. And bringing your hands to rest on your knees or in your lap in some fashion. Palms facing down is a bit more grounding. Palms facing up is more opening and receptive. Go ahead and let the eyes close. And as you bring your attention inward to the breath, cultivating that ujjayi quality, that sound like waves at the ocean through the inhale and exhale. And just let your awareness become rooted in this rhythmic flow of this ocean breath. And also allow your awareness to become grounded in the body. So feel your body, feel its connection to the floor beneath you. And taking a moment to check in gently and sweetly. And bringing the palms together at the heart. And take a moment here. Either keep the hands here at the heart or let the fingertips rise to the forehead, dropping the head slightly. Find your intention for your practice today. And as the hands return to the heart and the eyes softly open, we'll come on to all fours and immediately sit back into child's pose. So noticing how as we begin to move, our connection with the breath shifts a little bit. So keep focused on your breath as you bring your hips onto your heels and your forehead down to the floor. So we're continuing this grounding process, this movement inward. So listening here to the sound of your breath and feeling the breath expand out through the side walls of the ribs. And let the breath be delicious and unhurried. Let the hips be heavy, feeling the crease of the front hip flexor deepening into the body. Welcoming this gentle feeling in, slowing everything down, and moving into a state of real relationship with your body. And in that relationship, we bring a tenderness and a compassion. We bring a respect and an honoring. With your next inhale, come up again to tabletop. Have the wrists shoulder distance apart. Walk the knees so they're under the hips. Now as we begin to move, aligning breath and movement together, belly drops, tailbone lifts. On your inhale, look forward. And with your exhale, reverse it. Press into the hands, press into the knees, round the spine up. Exhale all the breath, belly to spine. Inhale, belly drops. Bring the heart forward through the shoulder heads. Exhale, hug the organs deep into the body. Now continue and see if you can feel the breath moving from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Return to a neutral spine. And we'll make a C curve. So exhale off to one side, bringing the hip forward and gazing to that hip. Shift your hips to the opposite direction a bit, and then inhale back through center. And as the hips shift to the side, look back towards that opposite hip, exhaling and inhaling to center. Good. So moving in this way now, breath by breath, awakening through the lower back, awakening through the hip. Just getting a sense of how your body's feeling. Notice your connection through your hands. Don't just press into the heel of the hand, but also press through the fingers. Distribute that weight evenly in the palm. And as we come back to center, bring the knees together. Tuck the toes under and sit back. Press the hips onto the heels. Now, pressing your hands into the mat, shift your weight back strongly, firmly onto the toes. This is a toe squat. And just warming up the feet. Let the heels move in and out a bit as you shift that weight from the big toe to the pinky toe side, stretching and opening the plantar fascia, the bottom of the foot. And find tabletop again. Lift the feet, squeeze the toes, and release them vigorously a few times and circle the ankles. So warming up here, the foot and ankle. Circle in the other direction. That's it. Good. Feet come back together, knees together, toes tuck under again. This time, shift the weight back and see if you can sit into toe squat. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can release onto the top of your foot at any time. But if you can, stay here. Now we'll circle the shoulders. Inhale, squeeze them up. Exhale them back and down. A few more times like this. Really push, pulling, and squeezing movement through the shoulders. Let's go in the opposite direction. Good. And to tabletop again. Lift the feet, squeeze the toes to release, circle the ankles, whatever you need to do there to really release those feet. And from tabletop, establish yourself here. Press firmly down into the hands. Draw the front ribs into the body. So we're taking the sway out of the lower back and drawing the front ribs in. Nice flat back here. Lift your right leg up behind you. Keep the pelvis nice and neutral as you give lots of energy through lifting through the heel and hugging that heel into the midline as well. Ground down through your right hand, reach your left arm forward. Gaze to your mat, breathe here. Strength through your midline, strength through the core, strength through the back. Use your ocean breath. One more inhale. And then we'll exhale, elbow and knee come to touch. Press into the hand and knee on the floor. Arch the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen. One more. Exhale, curl in and hold. Try to press your belly button up into the body. Good. Lengthen out with a big inhale. The hand comes onto the mat. Right foot comes forward between the hands. Hands up onto the hips for a low lunge. We're going to pulse with this. Exhale, hips forward and down. Inhale to back out. One more pulse. And as the hips come forward, interlace the fingers here. Gaze forward. Find any spot on the floor or wall in front of you. Focus the gaze. Breathe deeply. Smooth the breath. And allow the weight of the body to draw the pelvis forward and down towards the front heel. On your next inhale, back out of this lunge. Right hand comes onto the hip, left arm comes up. We'll add a twist. Big breath in. Exhale, wrist to the outside of the knee, hand onto the sacrum, or elbow to the outside of the knee, prayer twist. So taking a prayer twist to the outside. Continue to let the pelvis sink forward and down. So now we're in the deep lunge, and we're also adding that twist. As you press down into the left elbow, try to lift your torso higher away from the thigh. And the right hip goes to the back of the mat. Left hip is trying to come to the top of the mat. So we're scissoring together the pelvis and the inner thighs. Try to feel your breath expand. Make your exhales really complete here. That will help you find a greater space for an inhale. Very nice. We'll exhale, release the hands down and step the foot back, knees together, sway the hips side to side. Almost like you're going to sit down onto the floor, but not quite. And back to center, finding your tabletop, making it strong and steady, drawing the front ribs in, pressing down through the hands, activated and strong through the core. Left leg goes up, pelvis stays neutral. Lift through the heel, drop the left hip down, try to stretch your left hip away from the left shoulder, and hug that left heel into the midline. Grounding down through left hand, right arm reaches forward. Remind your front ribs into the body. It's like you're trying to lift the whole front body up into the back body. Breathe here. Left shoulder moving down the back away from the ear. So lots of space for the left neck. Last breath in. Good. We'll exhale, elbow and knee come together. Arch and press spine to ceiling. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl, hold a couple breaths. Inhale, lengthen out. Hand to the mat. Left foot steps forward. Hands come up to hips. Inhale. Exhale, pulse forward and down. Inhale, back out. Exhale, release. One more. Good. Hands interlace on top of the thigh. Gaze is forward. Breath is steady. Take your breath right into wherever the sensation is for you in this posture. Where is your body speaking to you? Breathe right into that. Good. Pressing into that front foot back out of the lunge. Left hand to hip, right arm goes up. Big breath in. Exhale as you come into the lunge, wrist or elbow to the outside of the knee. Hips come forward and down. Breathing here. So whenever we add a twist, there's an added challenge to experiencing the fullness of your breath. So make your exhales complete. Give yourself that greater opportunity for depth on your inhale. And exhale, hands down to the floor. Step your left foot back, tabletop. Sway the hips side to side. Back in the center now, you'll take your right foot and place it right on top of the left foot. So right foot coming on top of the left, stacking the feet. And there's a bone here on the top of the foot. You can feel that, feel for that bone. We're going to use that bone like a massage tool. So we have that bone right into the arch of the foot. The heels go wide and then sit back onto the feet. So not only does this give a compression massage to the bottom of the foot, but it also stretches the outer side of the right ankle. Interlace the hands behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Straighten the arms and lift the hands up away from the hips. Drop the chin to the chest. Expand your breath across the front of the chest and collarbones. Relax the jaw. Try to find as much ease as you can here. Good. Release the hands. Come forward, tabletop. Knees lift. Circle the ankles. Squeeze the toes. Release the feet however you wish. Shake them out. And then the right foot will go down. Left foot stacks on top. So same exact thing. Okay, sit back. Adjust the feet if you need to. So we're getting that really kind of intense massage for the arch of the foot through compression. And then also stretching the outer part of that ankle. Interlace the hands in front of you now, all but the index fingers. Index fingers point up, and we'll send the arms up to the sky. So you might have your hands in front of your ears. You might get them in line with your ears. You might have them behind the ears. That doesn't matter so much. Just breathing here. Draw the front ribs down and in. And then reach up through the hands like somebody's pulling you up. Expand your breath through the side ribs. Use your ocean breathing. And relax. Let the hands float down. Find your tabletop. Lift the feet. Release them. Shake them. Squeeze the toes. Circle the ankles. Whatever you need to do here. Now, bring the feet back onto the mat. The toes are going to touch. Tops of the feet down. Toes touching. Heels splaying wide. Sit down again. Right? So we have the heels wide, almost like the heels are towards the outside of our sitting bones. Okay? Hands come behind. And then lift the knees. And you'll get this incredible stretch through the front of the ankle and maybe up into the shin as well. So you want to take it easy with this, particularly if you're not used to this. If you are used to this, reach your hands forward, hold on to the knees, and see if you can balance here. Breathing. Such a great stretch for the ankle. One more full breath. Excellent. Slowly, carefully release. Find your tabletop. This time, though, toes tuck, lift your hips up and back, downward dog, and bicycle it out. Really get that amazing release through the Achilles and the ankle joint. So after all that work we just did in the foot, pedaling that out here, feeling that release. You might even shift the weight to one side and circle your ankle a few times down on the mat. Just taking good care of the feet and ankles. All right. So take your feet wide, wider than the hips. Lift the heels up high off the floor. Exhale, press through the hands, sink down through the heels. Nice and deep. Inhale, heels lift. And exhale, let those heels lower. Press into the hands. Press your thigh bones to the back wall. One more time. Inhale, lift the heels. And exhale, really drop down into the heels. Feel that nice stretch through the whole back of the leg. Now draw the front ribs into the body. Press down into the hands. Feel your shoulders supporting you here. Strong, strong. The head and neck are relaxed. Walk your left foot in a bit towards the midline of your mat. Send your right leg up to the sky. So just like we did in tabletop, we want to keep the pelvis neutral. So even as the right heel is lifting high, drop your right hip down. Sink down into your left heel. Really give your focus there for a few breaths. Great stretch for the left leg. Take one more breath. On your inhale, lift your left heel really high. Exhale, step your right foot all the way forward and through your hands. Okay, high lunge. Let's take a couple pulses here. Hips are high. Exhale, sink down into the hips, checking to make sure your front right knee doesn't cross the ankle. Inhale, the hips lift. Exhale, sink down, pressing back through that back big toe. One more pulse here. Inhale up. Exhale, and nice and deep into the pelvis. Good. Drop your left heel down. On our way to warrior two, windmill up, lead with the left arm. So come on up into your warrior two. That's it. And just make any adjustments that are necessary here in the position of your foot. Make sure the knees pressing towards the pinky toe side and feel the solid connection of the feet to the earth. Feel the strength of your legs supporting you. Good. Hands come onto the hips. And inhale, straighten that leg. We're going to pulse with this, trying to go a little bit deeper than we normally go in our warrior two. So we're taking the arms out of the equation, and we're really going to focus on going deep into the warrior two, getting this front thigh to get parallel to the floor. So let's inhale here, and then exhale, bend the knee. Press the knee towards the pinky toe side. Go low into the hips, and inhale to back out. So we're really expanding our range of motion. Exhale, pulse into warrior two, nice and deep. Yeah, one more. Good. So stay deep, just a couple breaths here. Lastly, imagine that you're dragging the feet together. So energetically, really strengthen the legs. Bring the legs together. One more breath. Good. Straighten your leg. Hands come down. And step back to extended warrior. So as you step back, right leg goes up again. And then bend at the knee, shake the leg out, circle, whatever you'd like to do to release the right hip. All right. So from down dog with the hips nice, the feet nice and wide again, let's inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, sink down into the heels. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, sink down. One more. Getting that nice deep stretch through the leg. Now with your next inhale, left leg goes up. All right. Focus on the pelvis. Nice and neutral. Left hip dropping down. Really energize and lift through the left heel. Send it up, hug it into the midline. Sink down through your right heel. Super deep stretch. On your next inhale, lift the right heel high. Exhale, step your left foot slowly all the way through to the hands. High lunge here. Pulse it up on the inhale. And exhale, pulse it down. Inhale up. Exhale, lower down. One more. Excellent. Right heel drops in and down. Right arm leads the way. Windmill up, warrior two. Make the adjustments in the feet as necessary. Stabilize the posture. Gaze over the tip of your middle left finger. Breathe. Steady. And bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, straighten. Now remember, we're really going for depth here. Exhale, bend into that knee. Make sure it's pressing to the pinky toe side. Get low into your warrior two. Inhale out. Exhale, pulse down and in. Really challenging your range of motion. Last time. Feel the strength of your legs. We're going to pause here. Keep your hands at the hips so you can focus. Lastly, draw the feet together. Activate the inseam of the legs. So sinking low, drawing the feet together. Really feel the work of your foundation in warrior two. One more breath. Good. Straighten the leg. Send the hands down to the mat. Step back, extended down dog. Left leg goes up. Bend at the knee, circle the hip, or shake the leg. Whatever you like to do to release that leg. And we'll bring the feet down to the mat. Take a breath in, lift the heels high. And exhale this time. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Let's stay here. So feet are hips distance apart. Bring the hands onto the shins, or if you're more flexible, hands onto the floor. Inhale, come up halfway. Spine parallel to floor. Exhale, fold. Let the head release. Go deep into the hamstrings. One more time. Inhale up halfway. Good. Exhale, fold, and enjoy this nice deep, deep stretch. So you can reach your hand for opposite elbows if you like that ragdoll. You can take your hands, one each behind the calf or the ankle. Hug the elbows in behind the calves and use your arms to help you deepen into that forward fold. Try to shift the weight forward a bit into the ball of the foot. The heel stays rooted, but from that heel up through the sitting bones, lengthen those sitting bones up to the sky. Completely release the weight of the head. And we'll release. Come halfway up. Exhale, bend the knees, belly to spine, drop the head round the spine, and come all the way up, rolling up. Press into the feet, tailbone heavy as we find a standing position. All right, take a moment here. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Samasthiti, close the eyes, find your breath, return to your intention from the beginning of our practice. And let the eyes open as the hands release to the heart. Shift your weight into the left foot, crossing the right ankle above the knee. Standing pigeon. Hands come to the heart as you sit back as if into a chair. So we're opening up into the outer hip, getting nice and deep there. Focus your gaze. You're welcome to grab a wall if you need to for the balance. Go nice and deep into that right hip. Steady and strong with your breathing. And we'll press to stand. Good. Release the leg. Shake it out. Right toes spread. Right foot is purposeful on the mat. Left ankle crosses above the knee. Hands to heart. Sit back. A standing pigeon on this side. And again, press to stand, release, and shake that out. Natarajasana, so dancer, half dancer pose. We're going to focus on the stretch of this pose. So weight into the left toes again. Right palm turns out, so you rotate your thumb out to the side, and then lift your heel to your buttock, holding the inside of your right ankle. Now before we do anything, imagine you're standing at a wall. These two hip bones are going to press forward into that imaginary wall. Send your right knee down into the floor. Try to lengthen that knee away from the hip. Left arm can come up to help you counterbalance. Focus gaze, steady breathing. Now as you press that right knee down into the floor, let it come behind you just a little bit. Keep squeezing that heel into the buttock, opening a good sense of length and release into the front of the thigh. Practicing our standing balance at the same time. Nice. We'll slowly release and shake that out. So same thing, right toe spread, left palm turns out, same posture on this other side. Hold on to the inside of the ankle. Left arm can come up, right arm comes up. Hips press forward, left knee stretching down away from the hip and a little bit behind. So the hips press forward and the knee goes back, long through the quadriceps. And we'll release and shake that out. Excellent. So we're kind of stretching the thighs, that we've done the hamstrings, the quads, the outer hips. Now we're going to go into the inner hips. Come down on your mat and grab the edges of your mat and fold the edges of your mat in about a foot or so on either side. Okay. Bring your knees down. to the very top edge of your mat. Turn your toes out, your feet out, so your inner ankle is on the floor. So this is frog, right? We're making ourselves in a frog shape. Bring the knees as wide apart as you comfortably can. Look back, make sure the ankle is level with the knee, and the knee is more or less level with the hip. There can be a tendency to sit the hips back, so let's see what that feels like. Take a breath in here in the center, and then as you exhale, just send the hips back towards the heels. And then inhale, come forward, more weight on the hands. Exhale, send the hips back towards the heels. Be very, very careful with this. A few more. We want to really honor the body, remembering that compassion and respect that we began the practice with. We want to honor the hips. All right, now from here, keeping the hips nice and level. So we were pressing back. We're going to not do that in this moment. So hips are in that forward position, and you can come down onto blocks, or if you can bring your forearms down onto the floor, that's fine too. Just sitting nice and deep into the hips. That's it. And we're going to take several breaths here, just allowing gravity to do its good work as we try to find a sense of ease in this great deepening in the groin and the inner thigh, right to the very pelvic floor. Staying with the breath, noticing the thoughts. And just a couple more breaths now. Excellent. Come on up. So move slowly. You never want to slide your knees, but rather try to walk them an inch or two together as you come up. Yeah, very good. All right, flip the edges of your mat out to the side again. And let's windshield wiper those legs. So there can be quite possibly and likely a sense of vulnerability in the hip joint because we don't often move and stretch in that way. So it's quite an experience for the body to have to be in that stretch. Okay, so we'll find tabletop again. And step your right foot forward between the hands. All right, both hands to the inside. So both hands to the inside of that foot as you come into the lunge. We're taking that low lunge position a little deeper. If you don't want to go deeper, if your hips are like, then you can keep your hands on either side of the foot and rest your torso on your thigh. But if you're ready for greater depth, both hands to the inside and maybe come down onto the forearms, onto the floor, or onto blocks. Just a couple breaths here. Try to keep the whole of your right foot on the mat so we're not letting the arch of that foot lift up. Not yet, anyway. Take a couple more breaths. Now, go ahead. I'll back out a little bit so you can see. Actually, I'll just turn around so you can see. So now from this great depth, go ahead and let your knee come out to the side, opening the bottom of that foot up to the midline of your mat. And then you might rock a little bit with this side to side, getting into your hip. We have done a lot already to prepare the hips for this. Not too many more breaths here. Very good. Come on out. Shift your weight back onto the left knee. Right leg straightens. Here's a great place for blocks under the hands. Slide the heel of your right foot forward towards the top of your mat until your left hip is directly above your knee. Then flex your right foot firmly and release the torso down. So this is a hamstring stretch. Releasing the right leg. Very nice. Come on up and step your foot back. And then release however you wish. You might go side to side, you might circle the hips, you might lift that right leg and give it a shake. Lots of options there. Step your left foot forward. Hands to the inside, or maybe both hands, one hand to the outside. And we'll take that nice deep release again here. Maybe coming down onto the forearms. So the whole of the foot's on the floor here at first. And we're just doing our best here to stay really calm in the breath. This is a super, super, super deep stretch for the hips. So we really have the opportunity to practice how we can use our breath to stay calm. Even though we're in an intense position, there can still be ease within the intensity. I know it sounds like a paradox, but spiritual practice is full of paradoxes. Now, let that knee fall out to the side as the bottom of the foot opens to the midline of the mat. And this will begin to access a little bit differently in that hip socket. Send your breath right there. Good. Let's release. Come on up. Shift the weight back onto the right knee. Left leg straightens. Use your hand if you need to. Slide that left foot a little higher up towards the top of your mat. Keep your left foot flexed and then release. Really deep into left hamstring. Let your head drop too. Let your spine round. And we'll take one more complete breath here. With your next inhale, come on up. Step the foot back and shake it out, however you need to. Circling the hip, swaying the hip, shaking the leg. It was really just quite deep there. Okay. So we have a little extra time here. We've done some really deep stretching of the hips. Now we're going to strengthen and try to stabilize in the hip. So let's actually come on to forearms on blocks just to get off the wrists a little bit. So bring your forearms down onto your blocks in front of you. And you can interlace your fingers if you need that additional support. Check to make sure that the elbows are more or less directly under the shoulders. Yep. Okay. Now draw those front ribs in again so we're strong and steady through the shoulders and the core. And send your right leg up and back. Okay, so right leg is up and back. Drop the right hip down. Hug that right heel into the midline and just feel the strength of your glute. Feel the strength of your hamstring. Everything strong and turning on there. Maybe even into the back. Good. Now bend at the knee so that the heel is more or less directly above the knee. And keep squeezing that knee into the midline. Squeeze it into the midline and then give little pulses, sending the foot straight up to the ceiling, activating and engaging the glute. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, big circle with the knee. So your foot will drop down and in as your knee comes out to the side, like you're trying to draw your knee to your armpit, and then down to center. Lift your knee straight up, foot to ceiling. Bring it out to the side like you're bringing it to your armpit, and down to center. Foot lifts. Knee out to the side. Keep it high, 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 all the way to the armpit. Down to center. Drop that knee onto the mat. Sway the hips side to side. Okay. So now here we are in this position. The knees are down. We're going to send the knee forward. So it's like we're hugging the knee in towards the armpit. Send it out and up to the side. Send the foot up to the sky. Squeeze it and drop the knee down. So knee comes forward, out to the side, up, squeeze, release down. One more. Knee forward, out to the side, up, and down. All right, shake that out again. Hands come onto the blocks. Gomukhasana. So take your right knee or step your right foot forward a bit and then walk that foot to the side of your mat. What we want to do is have the right foot or the right knee stacked in front of the left. Gomukhasana knees or eagle knees. Take the feet wide, bearing in mind that you will likely need a block to sit on between the feet. And if you don't need a block, you can sit on the floor. So you might need to use your hands as well to really get those knees nice and tightly together. Reach your hands to your feet, connecting your hands and feet together. Take a breath. And if you're getting plenty of stretch, you can stay right here, or if you want, hands come forward. And let yourself begin to curl and round, getting another really great deep stretch into the right hip. So we really just targeted this right hip and glute. Now giving it a really wonderful stretch and release. Come up nice and slow. Release the hands back, unravel the legs, and windshield wiper them. Come forward again to tabletop. Bringing your forearms down onto the blocks. Make sure the shoulders are above the elbows. Walk the knees in a little bit. Now press down into the elbows, draw your front ribs in so you're strong and engaged all through the core. You can interlace the fingers here if you like, but make sure you're not like wringing your hands out and having a death grip there. You want to keep that grip nice and light if you can. So our front ribs are drawing in, shifting the weight into the right knee, left leg lifts. And we're just going to hold here for a few breaths. That left hip drops down. Lift your left heel as high as you can without lifting the left hip. Hug that heel into the midline. Feel that warming and strength through the hamstring and the glute. Try to stretch your left hip away from your left shoulder as well. Good, now we'll bend at the knee and lifting the knee straight up, just little squeezes, little pulses into that glute. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now bring that knee out to the side as high as you can. Draw it forward like you're trying to touch your armpit and then down. Lift the knee straight up. Bring it out to the side, forward to the armpit and down. One more, it lifts up. Out to the side, slow, slow, slow in your movement, forward to the armpit, down, knee touches, and sway the hips side to side. All right, establish yourself here. Adjust the elbows again, make sure that you're nice and supported through the shoulders and the core. Draw the front ribs in. Weight into the right knee. Now hug that left knee in towards the armpit. Lift it straight up out to the side. Up behind you, squeeze and lift, and drop it down. Knee comes forward to the armpit, out to the side as high as you can lift, up to the sky, squeeze, and drop down. Last one, forward, hugging in, lifting out to the side, up, squeeze, and down. Good. Come onto your hands, and we're going to thread for Gomukhasana. So this left foot comes forward, and we have the left foot in front, or the left knee in front of the right knee. So again, you might need that block as you take your feet wide and sit back. Adjust the posture with the hands, getting those knees nice and tight together. Hands onto the feet. Sitting up tall, just take a couple breaths here. Try to feel that your weight is even in both the sitting bones. If your weight's really far off to one side, you probably want to lift your hips up onto a block. We want evenness in the sitting bones, and either staying here or as you're ready. Now taking that forward fold, that really deep stretch into the left glute, the buttock, the hip. And using the hands, please come up. All right, lean back, unravel the legs, windshield wiper. We can really feel, I don't know about you, but I can really feel my hips. All right, we'll dive into the inner thigh and groin once more. So we visited this area earlier in our frog pose. This posture is not quite so intense. So take the feet wide. Upavishta Konasana. Bring your fingertips behind you and try to lift the hips a bit. so that you can sit to the very front side of those sitting bones. The feet are flexed firmly, the kneecaps point up, fingertips come forward, and you'll gently, gently, gently bring your belly button towards the floor, keeping the spine long. And just get support for yourself wherever you need it. Hands can plant, forearms can plant. And take your awareness once again to that inner groin and inner thigh with that same attitude of honor and respect for this body. Not forcing anything here, but really breathing nourishment to this very tender part of the body. Stay with your breath. Stay with what you're feeling. And with your inhale, come up slowly. Use the hands to draw the feet together. Bounce the knees vigorously and rock the feet vigorously. We'll come onto our back. So with support, holding the backs of the knees, roll out with care onto the back, hug the knees into the chest. And just take several breaths here. You can rock a bit side to side. Feel the weight of the head heavy into the mat. Really release your head completely. Allow that inner throat to soften and relax. So coming back to center, perhaps the eyes close or the eyes are lightly focused at the ceiling. Take several deep belly breaths. Now see if you can take several deep chest breaths. I'm trying to expand the breath in all directions through the rib cage. Excellent. Release the feet and grab a block or 2 blocks. Now you can choose your configuration. You might have the blocks stacked in their widest form. So the flatness of the blocks, both of them, press into the feet, lift the hips, and bring that stack of 2 blocks underneath. If 2 blocks is too many, of course, you can just place 1 block under the hips. So we have this block here, and it's under the bony part of the lower back, the sacrum. Let the hands release down at the sides, and then bring your shoulder blades together and down the back. So it's a supported bridge. Here we are, a nice supported bridge. Take a few breaths. So we're on the downhill slide of our practice towards Shavasana. So begin to allow your breath to reflect that. You're welcome to stay right here with the feet on the floor and the knees lifted. If you want, bring the arms up overhead and take the wrists wide, bending at the elbows, cactus arms. And then if you want to go further, straighten the legs. Now, if this creates any pinching or discomfort in your lower back, then don't do it. Keep the feet on the floor and the knees lifted. You'll receive plenty of benefit there. And if you can straighten the legs, that's great. You'll feel this nice passive release across the hip flexor and the lower belly, all of that abdominal attachment inside the hip bone. Breathing into all of that, letting it go just through surrender here. Now walk the feet in if they're extended. Everybody, hands come down, press into the feet, and lift the hips up carefully. Lift your heels as well. Slide the blocks out from under you, and then roll down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. And once the sacrum touches, let the heels release. Draw the right knee into the chest, interlace the fingers around the shin, and straighten your left leg out onto the mat. So the knees coming towards the armpit. Take a couple breaths here. And from here, we'll revolve into a spinal twist. So left hand on the knee, and guide your knee across the body. Reach out through the right fingertips and shoulders, gazing in that direction, spinal twist. With your next inhale, unwind to center. Take your time. Left knee comes in. Hands interlace around the shin. Right leg straightens out onto the floor. Bring your knee in towards the armpit. Breathe here. Excellent. Find your spinal twist. Right hand grabbing the outside of the knee, guiding the knee across the body. Reach out through left fingertips, left shoulder heavy onto the mat, gazing in that direction, breathing. And the next inhale, you'll unwind to center. Constructive rest, feet on the mat, knees lifted. Adjust the pelvis to a nice neutral position. Take a couple breaths. And as you're ready, straightening the legs out for Shavasana, maybe bringing a bolster under the knees, which I recommend, or lying flat. Turn the palms up to the sky. Again, Bring your shoulder blades together and down in the back just to accentuate that nice opening and expansion through the chest. Eyes closed as you take a deep breath in. And exhale that breath like a wave down from the crown of the head all the way through the body, out through the fingertips and the toes. Letting everything go. Let's do that one more time. Deep, full cleansing breath in. Letting that purifying wave move all through. And then let go of all control here, even over your breath. Rest deeply. Taking your last breath, a nice deep breath. And using the breath deepening in the body to awaken movement through the fingers and the toes, and the arms and the legs. As you're ready, stretch the arms up overhead. And rolling over to one side without hurry. And finding your seat. We'll bring one hand to the heart, and one hand to the belly. Close the eyes. And bringing the feeling into your hands as if you're hugging yourself. When we have a deep hip opening class, there can be as though we're breaking a dam of emotions. Sometimes, not all the times. And we want to be easy and tender with ourselves. And so let's finish by making a prayer for your body. Is there some prayer for health or happiness that you have for your own body, for your own self? Make that now. And the palms will touch at the heart as we make our closing chant to seal the energy of our practice. Exhaling the breath, inhaling deeply together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace, peace, peace unto us all. Thank you.